Good evening, my name is Joe Knowles and this is Demon TV News. Over the past 2 weeks, the Montfort University sports teams and some societies have been competing in Varsity. Varsity is a big event which happens around the country where universities compete against each other. DMU competed against the University of Leicester in events such as rugby, football, taekwondo and music. The majority of Varsity events have now finished, however it continues into May when rowing and outdoor tennis will be competed. We will find out more about how DMU has done in this year's Varsity very soon with Henry. Meanwhile, here's Ben at the Hugh Aston building.
Thank you, Joe. Tomorrow evening at 5:30, Alistair Blair will be hosting an EU question time here at the Hugh Aston building. Former MEPs Ollie Schmidt and Shane O'Neachin will be discussing a range of matters, including the UK's relationship with the EU after Brexit, as well as the UK's relationship with the world. Audience members will also be able to chip in with their opinions and questions about the subjects talked. Back to Joe in the studio.
Thank you, Ben. In other news, there have been mass shootings in Christchurch, New Zealand. A seemingly very carefully planned mass shooting was undertaken in 2 mosques, shocking the usually peaceful nation. 50 people have died and over 50 were left wounded after the 2 mosque attacks. A 28-year-old man has appeared in court being charged with the mass shootings. Meanwhile, a Chinese university is encouraging students to up their daily step count. If they reach up to 10,000 steps, they can have a 15% discount, while 40,000 steps earns you a 45% discount on any meal in their canteen. A dietitian at the university claims that this is a good scheme as it is an economic method for a balanced diet and exercise. It is rumoured that this initiative was enacted due to a study saying that more than a quarter of Chinese children are expected to be overweight or suffering from obesity by the year 2030. And now over to Henry for the sport.
Thanks, Joe. The 5th and final round of the Rugby Six Nations took place over the weekend, with Wales going into their game against Ireland, knowing a win would give them the Grand Slam Six Nations title. Wales didn't disappoint. They had a strong performance, beating Ireland 25-7. Across the border at Twickenham, one of the most thrilling Calcutta Cup games took place between England and Scotland. England went into this game knowing they had lost out on the Six Nations title, but could still finish strong against a very lacklustre Scottish side. England started good, having a 31-7 lead at half-time. However, Scotland fought back in the second half with number 10, Finn Russell, having an inspiring game which saw the Scots lead 38-31. Going into the last 5 minutes, England fought back and through George Ford's try 3 minutes in stoppage time, clinched it 38-38 draw. Scotland retained the Calcutta Cup after winning outright the previous year. Now on to the British top flight. 10-men Leicester City came away from Turf Moor with 3 points after defeating Burnley 2-1. The visitors were down to 10 men early when star defender Harry Maguire was sent off after just 4 minutes after a last-man foul on Goodmanson. However, it was Leicester who took the lead after James Maddison converted from a free kick in the 33rd minute. Dwight McNeil levelled for the hosts minutes later, but it would be Leicester City who took the points that day, with substitute Wes Morgan scoring in the 90th minute to give City the win. Loss leaves Burnley in 17th, just 2 points off the relegation zone, with 8 games remaining. Elsewhere, West Ham came from 3-1 down at home to beat Huddersfield 4-3, thanks to a brilliant second-half performance from Javier Hernandez, while on the south coast, AFC Bournemouth drew with Newcastle United, the final score being 2-2. Moving on to the FA Cup now, Manchester City came from 2-0 down at Swansea to win 3-2. The goals for Swansea came from Grimes and Selina. However, Manchester City came out at half-time a different side, and with thanks to Bernardo Silva, who pulled one back before an own goal from Swansea City's Nordfeld, which levelled the scores until Sergio Aguero headed in the winner in the 88th minute to make it 3-2. VAR was used in the Wolverhampton Wanderers match where they faced Manchester United. Wolverhampton Wanderers won 2-1, with Wolverhampton scoring both goals in the second half, from Jimenez in the 70th minute and Jota in the 76th minute, before Manchester United pulled one back by Rashford in stoppage time in the 95th minute. And there was one game on Sunday from the quarter-final stage of the FA Cup, which saw a 10-man Millwall beaten 5-4 on penalties by Premier League team Brighton and Hove Albion, after the game finished 2-2 after 90 minutes. And finally, over the past week and a half, De Montfort University and the University of Leicester took part in the annual Varsity tournament to see who would claim sporting dominance. Unfortunately, it was not to be DMU's year, as University of Leicester took home the overall points win with a 41-19 point win over DMU. Back to Joe.
Thank you, Henry. Following the death of Love Island star Mike Felicitas, Matt Hancock, the Minister for Health, has raised his concerns about the mental health support offered for reality contestants. Mike, aged 26, was found in North London Park on Saturday the 16th of March. The police haven't found any evidence that leads them to thinking that it is suspicious in any way. Another similar unfortunate case occurred June last when Sophie, Gordon, aged 32, was suddenly found dead. This case is still ongoing 7 months later. Taylor Swift's fans' excitement levels have been sent into overdrive as she appears to have started a countdown on her Instagram account. Many assume that this was her on the verge of dropping some new music. However, it has now come to an abrupt end. Having said this, she's been referencing butterflies a lot, so fans are convinced that this will be the theme for her next album. Well, that's all for the news at DMU, the UK and beyond. If you've got any stories you want to see covered, please let us know in the comments. But for now, I've been Joe Knowles and this has been Demon TV News, and we'll see you next time.